Hello students, this is Erika Buenrostro, your instructor for Spanish 1014 at UA Cossatot. This lesson will cover task 2, and if we will recall real quickly, task 1 was regarding nouns, nouns being a person, place, or thing, and we also discussed how to identify if they were masculine or feminine, singular or plural. For task 2, we are going to be discussing counting to 10. We're also going to talk about un and uno, más and menos. All right, so before we actually begin, the numbers in Spanish are, they start out in 0, okay, and they go from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 0 from 0 to 10, okay, and you've got the English version here, and then we're going to jump, since we said 10, we're going to jump straight into 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. 20 being 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70. And here's the deal. I'm going to pause real fast because these two can easily confuse anybody. 60, that S has to be there in order for someone to understand that you were talking about 60. 70, the T has to be noted here so that somebody will know that you are talking about 70. Easy to confuse the two. But once you've got it, the more you practice, the better you'll be. 80 is 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. Más, when it comes to numbers, means more or add. Menos means less than or subtract. This will also be covered in a future lesson. For now, we're just introducing the vocabulary because we will see it here in a few minutes. I've got a short video that I also want to show you all, okay? Because as I mentioned before, even though we may all be Spanish speaking, or some of us may be Spanish speaking, it doesn't mean that we pronounce things the same way. So listen to how she says her numbers. Alrighty, there you go. There's another version of how to say the numbers. Very similar. I believe she was from Mexico as well. And so when we talk about how to contar, means to count. Contar means to count. You'll need to remember that. So here's your vocabulary for this lesson. Make sure you remember it. All right, let's talk about uno and un. The number 1 changes from uno to un before a masculine noun. So if we've got a noun that is masculine, okay, we're going to change it to un. So for example, libro is masculine, okay, and we're only talking about one book, so it's going to be un libro. A dog, un perro. The double R is r, okay. Un hombre, masculine, so therefore we use un. Okay, the number 1 changes from uno to una before a feminine noun. So now we're talking about a feminine noun. Excuse me. Una. Okay, un is masculine, una is feminine. So pluma is feminine, so we're going to use una. Pluma. Una gata. One cat, feminine. Una chica. One girl. When counting generically, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, use uno. But when counting specifically, 1 cat, 1 dog, 1 house, use un or una. So in the examples provided here below, we see that un libro is 1 book, okay, because it's masculine. Pluma is feminine, so we're going to use una, which means 1 pen. And then, as it mentions here, when counting generically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to use uno. 1, 2, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, etc. All right. Practice exercise. We're going to choose the correct translation and pause the video as needed. For purposes of time, I will be making just short stops and continuing on. Number one reads 9 pencils. So would the correct translation be un lápiz, dos lápices, siete lápices, or nueve lápices? So I'm going to help you with number one. So let's say that 9 pencils, it's a given. You've got a number 9 there that I know was part of your vocabulary. So we're going to go back. And nueve means 9. So there you go. There is a clue to where you will know that the correct answer is more than likely D. I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'm going to read 2 hands. Number 2 reads 2 hands. Is the correct answer una mano or B, dos manos? Number 3 reads un libro, 1 book, or B, 5 books? If you said that number 2 was B, that is correct. It is dos manos, as we know that 2 is dos in Spanish. And if you said that 1 book was the answer for number 3, that is correct, as we know that 1 is un. Okay, so good job. All right, the next exercise reads, number 1, un lápiz más 3 lápices. Now we're going to do some adding. Let's go back to our vocabulary, and this is a given, and this is how you actually know that it is, I'm trying to find, okay, más means more, and this is how we know that. Let's go back to our vocabulary. This is why it's super important that you guys pause the video, review the vocabulary, learn the vocabulary, okay? When you have learned the vocabulary, everything else will come easy to you. Okay, I think this has frozen. Here we go. All right, so más means more. Remember, and menos means less than, which means we're going to subtract. Okay, so now that we've remembered that, and I'm going to skip to our exercise 2, un lápiz más 3 lápices. So, un means 1 pencil, más means more, 3 is 3 lápices. So 1 plus 3 pencils equals, okay. Number 2 reads, siete tijeras menos 2 tijeras. Clue word, menos. Number 3 reads, 80 libros más 10 libros más. 60 manos más 0 manos. And if you said that number 2 was 5, that is correct. If you said that number 3 is 90, that is correct, which is 90. If you said number 4 was 60, don't forget to put the S instead of T, that is correct. All right, I've got a few practice videos that I also want to share with you guys. We're going to try to recognize the vocabulary words within the videos themselves, and we are also trying to recognize uno and the plural forms of each. right, so in this video presentation, we see how there are several ways in which numbers are expressed, uno, dos, tres, and they are throughout the whole video. Don't feel overwhelmed. I know there's a lot on here that we haven't discussed. Right now, the whole objective is for you to actually find those vocabulary words, and as mentioned before, the more you practice, the easier it will be to pick up on those numbers. All right, so going back to our video presentation, let's look at video number 2. Oh gosh, she thought that was hilarious, didn't she? I want you to make a note. She did skip the ñ when it came to the alphabet. She is from Santiago, Chile, which they also speak a form of Spanish, but if you can tell, the accent varies. So that's the reason why I chose this particular video. Once again, you should have caught those numbers. All right, so now for the practice exercises, we are going to do these together. I want you to hear me pronounce each and every one of these, and then we will try to bring out or let stand out anything that we have covered so far in this lesson. So the first one says, Mi hermanito tiene 5 años, which translates to my little brother is 5 years old. Mi hermanito tiene 5 años. Let's find that letter, that number word. It's 5, which is 5. Solo fui a 2 clases hoy. I only went to 2 classes today. Dos is the number you should have caught from this phrase. Ella compró, ella is ja, remember, compró 9 peces para su acuario nuevo, which translates to she bought 9 fish for her new aquarium. Where is 9? Nueve. Okay. 6 de sus 8 primos viven en Brasil. 6 of her 8 cousins live in Brasil. 6 and 8. All right, the last one is hay 7 días en una semana. There are 7 days in a week. Hay 7. You should have caught 7. All right, this is the last part of task 2. You should go to Blackboard discussion, express the just any observations that you've had, also provide feedback, and do quiz 2, task 2. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't hesitate to reach out to me.